Start this off by saying, Call Halayam, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kal Kodesh. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who will. Peace and salutations to the Lord, hopeful elect. Shalom. So I want to get into a lesson on the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. Starting at verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment. So, one thing that the elders and apostles at Great Millstone taught me was there is lessons within lessons. So, like I just read, the first portion of the first verse, a good name is better than precious ointment. So I got a quick precept, and I'm gonna touch on that precious ointment. So this right here is John chapter 12, verse 3. Then Mary took a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Yahweh Shai, and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. So the first portion of the first verse is saying it's better for you to have a good name than for you to have that expensive, good quality ointment that got your whole house smelling good. And the second portion is saying, in the day of death, than the day of one's birth. So I got another precept. So this right here is Ecclesiastes chapter 4, starting at the first verse. So I return and consider all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressor there was power, but they had no comforter. Wherefore I praise the dead which are already dead, more than the living which are yet alive. Because he, better is he than both they which have not yet been, who have not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. So right here, one is saying, in the day of death than the day of one's birth. It's better for that death day to come than for your birthday to come. Why? Because first and foremost, you're finally at rest from all of the vexation of spirit that's being done underneath the sun. The oppressed, the oppressed and the oppressor, they don't have comfort. But the one that's dead, he's back inside of the spirit, he got a break from all of the vexation of all of the vexation that's done underneath the sun. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men. And that's true, The end of all men is, being inside of a casket, surrounded by your loved ones, they are crying and stuff like that. So the end of a man ultimately is mourning. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. And that right there is true too, because it's better for you to hear the rebuke. If you can accept correction, if you can be corrected, if you're not all prideful and stuff like that, if you know how to show humility, and you out of order and you getting corrected by a wise man, Scripture is saying it's better for you to hear that than for you to hear, the foolishness that Jake be talking about in his music. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This is also vanity. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. I'm gonna read that one more time. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. So I got another precept. This right here is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32. And it say, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. So, being quick to anger and stuff like that, that's not the way. Scripture just said in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. Being able to rule your spirit, and that also goes into self-control. Yeah, that goes into self-control. And it also goes into patience, not getting angry, not being angry so quickly, and just being able to rule your spirit, being able to control yourself. So I got another precept. This right here is Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 14. Woe unto you that have lost patience. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall visit you? So, not being hasty in spirit to be angry, but having that self-control, being able to control your spirit and to rule over it, being able to have that patience and stuff like that, that's important. Verse 10. Say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these? The former days being the previous days, the days that were before. For thou dost not inquire wisely concerning this. So I got another precept, and this right here is James chapter 4, verse 14, and it say, whereas ye know not what ye shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanish away. So, saying stuff like, the days, I remember how it was last year. Last year was better than this year. Last year gonna be better than next year. You don't know that. Wisdom is good with an inheritance, and by it there is profit to them that see the sun. To them that see the sun means to those that are alive, Wisdom, it won't do you no good if you already dead. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider. God also hath set the one over against the other, to the end that man should not find nothing after him. All things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perisheth, and in his righteousness, Salakia. And there is a wicked man that prospereth his life in his wickedness. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Alright, so I got another. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read that one more time. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 16. Be not over righteous much, Salakia. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? So I got another precept. So this right here is Isaiah chapter 64, verse 6. we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags. And we all do fade as the leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away, So all of us have sinned and fallen short. All of us sinned and fell short of the glory of God. So, it wouldn't make sense for you to go on living in this Christian, over-righteous, self-righteous, holy way of living, man. You're just not supposed to be over-righteous, because all of us fell short of the glory of God. And I got another precept for the second portion of verse 16, where it say, neither make thyself over wise, why shouldest thou destroy thyself? So this right here is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 18. For much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow, So, having a lot of wisdom, it comes with a lot of grief. Having a lot of knowledge, it comes with a lot of sorrow. Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? So I got another precept. So this right here is Ecclesiastes chapter 15, verse 20. He, as in Yahweh, hath commanded no man to do wickedly, neither hath he given any man license to sin, So when I'm reading Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 17, where it say, be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish, At the end of the day, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, he didn't tell you, he's not approving that you just go ahead and be wicked, That's not that. But I got another precept. So this right here is Romans chapter 7, verse 15. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. For what I hate, that I do. So Yahweh, he's not telling you in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 17, it's not talking about, he's not giving you a license to sin. But at the end of the day, we all fall short of the glory of God. We all inside of this flesh, So we're going to slip up sometimes, but you got to get back up, man. Verse 19. Wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in a city. For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. So, this right here is an easy one. This right here is Romans chapter 3 again, verse 23. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of Yahweh, So, at the end of the day, there's nobody there's not a just man that don't sin. Verse 21. Also take no heed unto all the words that are spoken, lest thou hear thy servant curse thee. For oft times also thine own heart knoweth that thou thyself likewise hast cursed others. All this have I proved by wisdom, and I said I would be wise, but it was far from me. That which is far off and exceeding deep, who can find it out? I plant my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman, whose heart is snares and nets, and her bands as bands, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her. but the sinner shall be taken by her. And I got a precept on that. So this right here is Proverbs chapter 6, verse 26. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Women have destroyed a lot of strong men, simply put. It's verse 27. Behold, this have I found, said the preacher, counting one by one, to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Lo, this only have I found, and power hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions, man. So with that being said, hopefully this was edifying to somebody, man. With that being said, I'm gonna say shalom.